Hi there. It's Spiritual Psychic Cynthia Killian here, also known as Psychic Cynthia. And today I'm logging on to do a video in our Living Your Spiritual Psychic Life series. And this one is also part of Awakening Your Inner Psychic as well. So welcome. And today I'm logging on to talk a little bit more about how to get focused and unscattered on your spiritual psychic path. AKA working in the hologram. And I'll tell you a little bit more in a moment about what I mean by working in the hologram and how this relates to your spiritual psychic path, to awakening your inner psychic, and all of the wonderful psychic development work that we do. You might notice that there's a big box of stuff here behind me today, and it's clutter, right? It's like some of my stuff. And this relates to working in the hologram. That is what I'm doing today. And for those of you who know me, I generally like my stuff neat, and some people even think I'm a little bit of a cleaning freak. Before I do an in-person reading, I insist on cleaning my house for 4 hours first. So, I have some clutter, though, like everyone else. I think that we all have a secret clutter, at least, And heck, my office often has clutter with papers and things like that because I'm working on projects. But one of the secret, and it won't be secret anymore after I tell you, one of my secret pack rat things, it's probably the only thing I really pack rat a lot, and that's glass jars and containers. Well, some plastic too, but I make a lot of herbal teas for healing, and sometimes I make herbal syrups in the winter. I put together, bags of dried herbs and things like that, and I need storage containers. And not to mention, I'm just an environmentalist, y'all. I don't want to keep sending stuff to the landfill, and recycling is great, but I heard that most plastic can only be recycled one time. I don't know about glass. So I try to reuse and repurpose out of respect to Mother Nature. That's how I end up pack ratting containers sometimes, okay? And this relates to my hologram, okay? So what I'm doing this morning is I'm going through and sorting some of these containers. And I do this periodically, but this is a big sort. And I'm going to clear out some of the containers that, I have some friends who are herbalists, and I might be sharing these with them, because they make they're like scrubs, like bath salts. And then some of them I'll just keep because this is a great tea bottle, and they don't last forever. You can only use them a few times, and then you have to recycle them, but at least I have them. It's an old juice bottle. Got some awesome ball jars here, as you can see. Oh, and I love to save the maple syrup bottles, and I can put my root tea in there because that's what I sweeten with, is maple syrup. Anyway, you get the idea. I got some stuff going on here that I'm going to need to sort, and I'm doing this morning as part of my spiritual psychic clearing and focusing. Okay, just take a moment if you didn't hear what I just said. Let's take a deep breath in. What I just said, or what I'm trying to get across here, is that I'm going through these containers and these jars and getting them organized. Some will be passed on, some will keep, some will move to the garage, some will be recycled. I'm doing this work today as part of my spiritual psychic development, not just as part of my cleaning development, okay? It's actually something that I am doing to help get myself refocused and energized, because when you release and clear out, at first it's tiring, but then eventually it makes you lighter and more energized. So I'm doing all of this, and I'm doing it in December at the time I'm filming this video, to prepare myself for the new year ahead. However, you can do this anytime you want to get focused and scattered. And by this, I don't mean go through jars and containers, understand. I mean working in your own hologram. Working in some aspect of your life and getting that is overrun, that is unfocused. Something simple, like jars and containers, like the junk drawer, like your closet, like cleaning out your car. How many of us need to clean out our cars? My car's not that dirty, but I do have dust in there. Thank God I don't eat out of my car anymore. If you eat out of your car, I guarantee you need to clean out your car, okay, every week, right? And what is a hologram? Well, I actually brought some notes this time. I almost never work off of notes, but I wanted to make sure I kind of explained it in a way that you would understand. I mean, I have an interior understanding, but there is a scientific basis behind it. Don't worry, I'm not going to go too much into the science, but I just want you to kind of get that this is there's the metaphysical hologram, which is based on the concept of the scientific hologram, which is it's a photography practice originally. And it's a way of taking a picture, basically, where that picture, if you dissect it 1 time or 2 times or 3 or 100 times, every time you cut that picture, each part has a picture of the whole. So, for example, if this were a hologram, this video, and you had the picture of me right now, and then you were to divide it up in half, the 2 new halves would be the whole. Each one, there would be 2 holes. And if you were to keep subdividing those, every little picture would have a new picture of the whole. Now, it would get smaller and smaller, right? Because you're dividing smaller and smaller. But even if you got down to here, I'm serious, like just right there, it would still have the whole picture in it. Now, if you want to apply this metaphysically to your life, what we're saying is that every little part of your life is connected. It's a reflection of the whole. Every little part. And that's big. That's profound when you think about it. Think about it for a moment, okay? Just take a deep breath in and think about it. Very good. Very good. Feels so good to close the eyes. And remember, whenever we close our eyes for, about 15, 17 seconds or more, we're going into that light trance state. So dip into that sometimes. I digress. So looking at my little reminder card here, some things that I wrote down that I wanted to be sure to say to you here. Well, a hologram is effectively a permanent record, quote unquote, of what something looks like seen from any angle. That's from explainthatstuff.com, okay? Each part of the hologram contains a complete picture of the whole. I already basically said that. I think the thing that, as I think about it for you, that I want you to understand is that each part of your hologram, that's your life, okay? Because your life is like a big complete picture. It contains the picture, yes, but it's connected to the whole. It contains all the information. In other words, there's no separation. Do we know that? Do we know that the look of separation, the way we all appear separate, the way I appear separate from you and you appear separate from me, that is a 3D illusion. I mean, it certainly seems real in this 3D realm, but when you get into the higher energy levels, you start to see it's not real at all. And the same thing in your life, okay? Bringing it back to, I don't want to get too far out here, but bring it back to your life. The different parts of your life are not so disconnected as you think. Like, if you think that you can be the best psychic you can be, but totally neglect your health and well-being, for example, then you're wrong, okay? If you think that you can be the best psychic you can be and be as spiritual as possible and as connected in, while also just totally neglecting, the monetary issue of your life and pawning that off to somebody else in your life, once again, you are mistaken. And I normally don't like to tell people that they're wrong. It's not something I concentrate on. I tend to concentrate more on how you're right, actually. And finding, of course, your own inner truth. But those things that I just mentioned, I mean, if you're telling yourself, you're concentrating on your psychic path. And here's the thing, what you're going to notice is like, you're going to be very unfocused and unscattered if any part of your hologram, your life hologram, is in need of great attention. Let me repeat that in a different way so you understand. If you're unfocused and scattered as a psychic, or on your spiritual path, on your spiritual psychic path, which spiritual psychic means to live a life of connected perception. The psychic part is the higher perception, and the spiritual part is the connection with source, with your guides, with angels, with the inner self, with God, goddess, whatever word you want to use, the universe, the cosmos. So those of us who are on the spiritual psychic path have both connection and perception of a higher level. And that's the path you're probably on if you're watching these videos. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that, okay? So if you're on that path and then you're starting to feel congested or clogged up, stagnant, as if you can't move, you're not growing, you're stuck, which is different than scattered, I know, but I want to mention that here. This is also a video about how to get unstuck on your psychic path. Or we could put it in positive language and say how to keep moving, how to stay clear, right? How to stay focused on your psychic path. Well, one very strong way you do that is by working in the hologram. And that can include working in your interior space, such as I am doing today, sorting through these jars and making sure that I'm keeping readily available those which I will need in the near future. And then doing something with those that I won't need right away, and then just getting rid of the ones that don't serve me. So this is a metaphor for how you would work in your own hologram, and any part of it, okay? You could improve your psychic focus and your psychic game, so to speak. You could improve it by working in your health zone or even your weight zone. I mean, I know it's been, I don't know, probably 4 years now. I had put on some weight, which is unusual for me because I am, I hit the genetic pull on the thinness. And yes, I'm naturally thin. I mean, there's a lot of other things that I didn't get that were as good, but hey, at least I got that, right? But yeah, I put on some weight. I put on about 30 or 35 pounds. And I didn't understand because I was doing a lot of workout at the time. But then as I started looking at my diet, I saw that, well, I was working out almost every day, hard workout too. And I thought, well, I can just eat potato chips after I work out. I've earned it. Well, no, as it turns out, I can't eat potato chips every night after I work out. Not if I don't want to be that heavy. And by the way, I'm just speaking for me. Maybe you can, okay? So I worked in my hologram. I started working with my weight and my diet even further. It's funny because I was eating a lot of healthy stuff, but, I needed to adjust the hologram. I needed for myself at that time to go down quite a bit on the carbs and to increase the amount of green stuff I was eating. So I did that, and I shed 35 pounds over about a year. Maybe it was even less than a year, actually. It was a pretty massive transformation. And as a result, I felt clearer and sharper as a psychic than I had for many, many years. So this is an example of working in the hologram. Now, it doesn't have to be that major, okay? I mean, losing 35 pounds, if you've ever done it, is major, major. I really would like to stay focused today on just the smaller things. I mean, this is actually a pretty major job for me. I need a few hours to do it, or at least a couple hours. But it's not the same as losing 35 pounds. There are simple things you can do to work in the hologram, sorting the junk drawer, cleaning out a part of your closet, sorting the bottles in the fridge, for example. What do you have? The bottles and jars and tubs of stuff. Does some of that need to go? That's also working in your hologram. Financially, you can work in your hologram by keeping your checkbook and your bank book up to date. If you're a business owner or self-employed, updating your accounting regularly. I know I don't like that part either, but it does have to be done. When you do that, for example, it does send a message to the universe that you're open for more abundance. And more importantly, for what we're discussing today, it helps to keep you coherent and clear in a part of your hologram. So, before I sign off today, if it hasn't already come across to you, I would just like to make it clear that what I'm saying here is that if you work in one tiny little piece of your life, such as cleaning out a drawer or getting your jars organized or cleaning your car, so I'm talking a lot about cleaning. I think cleaning is a really good way to work in hologram. So if you can't think of any other areas, or if you're like, oh, I'm not up for tackling my accounting or my weight issue, then just go clean a drawer, okay? Get rid of some stuff. And seriously, it will help improve your game as a psychic. It will help clear the hologram. It will help align your energies more. It gets rid of old energy. I mean, that's one reason I like to talk a lot about cleaning, because, cleaning clears out old energies. I mean, one thing I discovered a long time ago, if, just for example, if you're using your psychic ability to work in the field of abundance, not greed, okay? I found that if my financial flow became a little bit more constricted than I like, or I just needed to open up more abundance for myself to meet an expense, I found that cleaning my floors, mopping them. I live in a older house, so most of the floors are not carpeted. I mean, there is one room that is carpeted, but the rest have linoleum or wood. So they have to be mopped, actually, and not just vacuumed. And so if I will go and do that, that really gets things flowing. But not just on the abundance level, in terms of feeling inspired and creative. And actually, I didn't know I was going to do this video today. Just as I got into this project of working in the hologram, I started clearing stuff out because I've already taken some stuff outside and gotten rid of it. I suddenly had the inspiration for this video for you. So it's already working, you guys and you gals. It's already working. Isn't that wonderful? You could have inspiration instantly. You could have a psychic breakthrough and be more clear and more open and unstuck on your path. In other words, moving forward easily. You could do that very easily just by working a little bit in your hologram. So however you want to do it, whether you want to do this by cleaning, whether you want to do it by, improving your look. I don't know that you need to improve, but maybe you want to change it, okay? Maybe you want to do a little something different with your jewelry or your clothing, or even you want to go further, makeup or hair. That's cool. However you do it, just find a way to work in the hologram. And remember, each part of the whole affects the other parts because they're all one. There is no separation. I leave you with that, dear one, and with my bright, bright blessings and love. Until next time.